On the advice of a number of the organizations around this table and other tables across the country, is to toughen the bail and sentencing laws in this country. In fact, we put forth a number of bills over the course of the last few months in Parliament that is arguably the most aggressive tightening of the criminal code seen in decades. That includes tightening, as I said, bail and sentencing laws under a bill called C-14. It provides steps such as, and this is again on advice that we receive, reverse onus for bail in cases of violent crime, extortion, use of arson, threat of arson, use of firearms. In effect, you have to prove that you should get bail as opposed to a presumption of having bail. It provides for consecutive sentencing in a number of these cases as well, so that the penalties are extended. Tougher sentences for home invasions, for use of weapons, for arson, all of the things that we're seeing in and around extortion. In fact, there's 80 targeted amendments to the criminal code in Bill C-14 alone. Secondly, strengthening our immigration laws and our borders laws, basically ending the fraudulent use of asylum seeking by criminals to drag out processes and to avoid justice, in effect. A series of tightening there. Those measures are now in the Senate. Again, we need to see them passed. In addition, we have measures to additional legislation to address victims of violence. That's so-called C-12, which is a bill, and make it an explicit crime to recruit youth into extortion. I know, for example, the Surrey police and others have education campaigns and other campaigns in order to ensure that the youth don't come in, aren't pulled into these gangs in effect. But we need to toughen it on the legal side. Also, legislation to combat hate. Hate in our communities, intimidation, people going to their synagogue, to their mosque, to their church, to their community center, a series of other measures, as well as the exploitation of children online. We've also taken steps as the federal government to list as terrorist organizations groups involved in extortion. The most notorious is the Vishnoi gang, again on the advice of the police, working with the advice, for example, as well as the BC government listed the Vishnoi gang as a terrorist organization. Also, major steps being taken in terms of resources. A total of $1.7 billion in the last budget across the RCMP and the Canada Border Service Agency. Nina Patel is here from the CBSA, overseeing the work in British Columbia, providing additional resources, an additional 1,000 CBSA officers across the country, additional 1,000 RCMP personnel,